Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back again today with a fantasy football video. Today we're doing the buy or sell third round ADP video. So if you didn't see yesterday's video or the day before, click down below. You can find those videos. That's the first and second round ADP. And while you're down there, make sure to click that subscribe button so that you can win your fantasy football championship and everything. If you subscribe, you're going to be guaranteed to win. I know that for a fact because if you watch all these videos, you're going to get the knowledge to beat out your opponents. So, like I said, we're doing a buy or sell third round ADP video. Pretty much what this means is I'm going to put all the players on the screen that are in the third round ADP as of now. Currently going to the third round. ADP means average draft position. They're being drafted in the third round, and we see if we buy or sell them at that ADP. So the 301 is Adam Thielen, Minnesota Vikings wideout. In my opinion, Adam Thielen is a buy candidate in the 2019 fantasy football season because I think that the Minnesota Vikings are going to have a better year this year. I think Kirk is going to throw more touchdowns. I think Thielen is going to play better this year because Stefon Diggs, who's the 312, is going to step up and play a lot better too. I think that if Dalvin Cook can stay healthy, while I don't know if that's going to happen, it will open up the passing game a lot more for Thielen and Diggs. And I like a guy who's going to be catching a bunch of passes each game like Thielen in my lineup, especially in a PPR format. Now, he did have weeks last season where he disappointed. The beginning of the season was super hot. He was winning you games left and right. But once it went towards the end of the season, he started to fall off and wasn't playing as well as he did at the beginning of the season. But that doesn't necessarily worry me completely. So hopefully we can see Adam Thielen breakout this year. Well, he pretty much broke out last year, but you get what I'm saying. I think he can play even better than he did last year and be more consistent, in my opinion. And that's why I like Adam Thielen this season. So the 302 is Aaron Jones of the Green Bay Packers. His quarterback is Aaron Rodgers. Why does that mean anything? Because Aaron Jones is a pass catching back. So he's a buy, in my opinion. I think that Green Bay, they got rid of that Mike McCarthy motherfucker. They kicked him to the door. They said, don't you come back no more. No more. No more. They brought in a new coach. They're going to be able to actually run the ball this year. Aaron Rodgers spoke about how much he likes all these guys on his team. He has each of their dicks in his mouth all at once. He loves every single one of those players. Aaron Rodgers is going to be dumping the ball off to Aaron Jones. Aaron Jones is going to run the ball a lot. And I think that at his current ADP at the 302, he's pretty much a steal because he could finish very high in fantasy this year. I like him a lot. He's on a great team, and that's very key to being great in fantasy because if you're on a great team, you're going to be scoring a lot. And I think that the Packers are going to have an emergence this year. Aaron Rodgers didn't play as well this year as he has in years past. Was that because of the injury that he suffered against the Bears? Did that hurt him all season? Probably. Is Aaron Rodgers healthy now? In my opinion, probably yes. Is he good at drinking beer, chugging beer very fast? No. But is he good in fantasy? Is he good at throwing the ball? Is he a Hall of Fame quarterback? Yes. And is he good at handing the ball off? Yes. He's good at all of those things. So for that reason, I like Aaron Jones in fantasy football in 2019. At the 303, we got Mr. Thank You Hilton, T.Y. Hilton. And thank you very much to T.Y. because we are a buy on T.Y. Hilton in this fantasy football season. T.Y. Hilton is on a high-powered offense. The Colts last year strung it very well together towards the end of the season. I believe going either 9-1 or 10-1 for a stretch. They were very good. They kind of crumbled in the playoffs, but that's okay because you don't play fantasy football in the playoffs. Your regular season and your playoffs in fantasy are during the real NFL regular season, so the playoffs don't fucking matter. So T.Y. Hilton is going to be catching a bunch of passes. He's the best wide receiver on the team. He's the number one target. Now, Andrew Luck does like spreading the ball out. Obviously, he'll throw it to his tight ends, Mo Alley Cox, Jack Doyle, Eric Ebron, all going to get their receptions. A guy like Paris Campbell is going to catch the ball. I believe Funchess is on that team too. He's going to throw the ball a lot, and T.Y. Hilton seems to be his favorite target. T.Y. Hilton is a great wideout, and I think that he is a pretty safe pick at the 303. Obviously, I believe he has had injury problems in the past. I don't believe he was injured last year very much, or if at all. So I'm pretty confident in drafting T.Y. Hilton at the 303. Now, at the 304, we have Patrick Mahomes, last year's MVP, the quarterback of the Kansas City Chiefs. And in my opinion, Pat Mahomes is a sell now. A lot of you guys will be telling me right now in the comments, you're typing angrily, Pat Mahomes is the best quarterback in fantasy. I agree with you. Pat Mahomes is the best quarterback in fantasy. But is he worth a pick in the third round in a one quarterback league? Absolutely fucking not. He is not going to throw 50 touchdowns this year. I'll tell you that much. I think he could throw 40, 42, 43. I doubt he's throwing 50. It's almost impossible to throw 50 two times in a row, and it's almost impossible to throw 50 touchdowns in general. Only like 13 from between 10 and 15 quarterbacks have done that all time. The stat has fallen out of my fucking brain right now. But it's okay because Pat Mahomes is not going to return the value of a third round pick. You notice how there's no other quarterbacks going in the third round in this current ADP list. No other quarterback's name is here. And also, what you do want to know is Pat Mahomes, likely in your at home draft, may not even go in the third round. If he goes in the first or second round, you can't touch him. If he goes in the third round, you can't touch him. If he goes in the fourth round, you can't touch him. In the fifth round, I would happily take Patrick Mahomes. But at this third round value, at the 304, I do not like touching a quarterback this early, and I would not touch Patrick Mahomes this season in fantasy football at his current average draft position. At the 305, we have Amari Cooper, Dallas Cowboys wideout, formerly of the Raiders, the Oakland Raiders. Okay, so the 305, Amari Cooper is a buy. Now, a lot of people they hating on Amari Cooper, and I kind of agree with that. Like he kind of played so and so in certain games. Certain games he disappoints. Certain games he'd score you 30 points and win you the Super Bowl earlier, or not winning the Super Bowl, but winning your game, obviously. And previously, I believe he was going at the end of the second round. So now he's fallen out to the 305. I think he has decent value here. If he's your number one wide receiver, I don't trust it as much. But if he was my number two, if I was to go running back, receiver, receiver, or receiver, running back, receiver, I would definitely trust Amari Cooper to be my wide receiver too. And I like his value at the 305 to potentially have an even more breakout season this year, being able to practice more with Dak Prescott. Obviously, he was traded last season during the NFL season. I believe he started playing week 9, and Dak played a lot better with him on the field. And I think that he's going to end up having a great season this year. So for that reason, I like Amari Cooper. At the 306, we have Leonard Fournette, Jacksonville Jaguars running back. In my opinion, Leonard Fournette this season is a certified sell. You don't want nothing to do with Leonard Fournette. The only time I would ever touch Leonard Fournette is if he was my third running back and he was going to be my flex. Even then, I'm straying away because of his injury proneness. He doesn't like showing up to fucking pictures. He's a diva, and he's not that good of a running back. He averaged 3.3 yards per carry as a rookie, I believe, or under 3.5. He fucking sucks. He's not that good of a running back. They're going to run the ball with him a bunch of times. So obviously, if he stays healthy, he could end up being a top 12 back. But I take health into account a lot when drafting in the first couple of rounds. He is someone who can't stay healthy, constantly gets hurt. So for that reason, I don't like Leonard Fournette. Now, if you're going to draft his backup, Rock Armstead, go ahead and draft Leonard Fournette. But if you're not one of those handcuff kind of guys, then I'm all against him. And I'm all against him anyways, because I'd rather just draft Rock Armstead in the 15th round and play him a couple of weeks when Leonard Fournette's out. Because he always is. So, at the 307, we got Mr. Zach Ertz at the 307, tight end of Philadelphia Eagles. Now, he's a sell for me. A lot of you might be saying, "Oh, Nick, why you hate the tight ends? Why are you hating on the tight ends so much?" I don't hate tight ends, really. I just don't like drafting them this high. But just a little bit of a spoiler: I will draft some other tight end that is in this round. Wink, 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 wink. If you can read, maybe you would see that. But Zach Ertz is a guy I'm not targeting because I believe George Kittle, who goes at the 310, is going to finish higher than him. I think Zach Ertz is going to get a lot of his targets taken away by Dallas Goedert, the backup tight end, the second string tight end on the Eagles. They started to use him a lot more towards the back end of the season. Zach Ertz obviously had a pretty healthy year last season, but in years prior, he was not able to stay healthy. And I'm not really all in on this Philadelphia offense, and I do not necessarily think that Zach Ertz is worth the 307 pick. Now, if you think Ertz is better than Kittle, go ahead and draft him in the third round. I'm fine with that. But in my opinion, I don't want anything to do with Zach Ertz at the 307. If you fall into the fourth round, I definitely might think about snagging him. But all those big three tight ends, Kelsey, Ertz, and Kittle, are going to end up going in the first through third round, or sometimes fourth round. Barely do they ever fall to the back of the fourth round. So at the 308, we have AJ Green, Mr. Turf Toe. And after saying Turf Toe, you know what the answer is. He's a fucking sell. You don't want anything to do with AJ Green. He constantly gets injured. You may tell me, "Oh, he could be a top 12 wide receiver if he stays healthy all season." If if he stays healthy. That's the key word. If. If he's not going to stay healthy. He can never stay healthy. His foot is always fucked up and he's always going to fuck up your fantasy team when he gets hurt 1 quarter into the fucking game and you just want his buddy AJ Green's buddy Tyler Boyd, the Cincinnati wide receiver too, and at the 308, I'm just not touching AJ Green. Obviously, he has potential to be top 12, even potentially a top 5 guy, but I just don't think he can stay healthy. And he's on too bad of an offense to draft him this early, in my opinion. So for that reason, we are going with a sell on AJ Green at the 308. At the 309, we have Atlanta running back Devonta Freeman, Mr. Super Bowl. Devonta Freeman is a certified sell as well. I don't like him due to his injury proneness. Obviously, he had, I think it was 2 years ago, he was like the running back one, running back two. He was a great running back. He probably still is a great running back, but he is too injury prone as well. I preach to be safe. Yeah, don't be silly. Wrap your willy in the first couple of rounds and win the goddamn games with healthy players. It's hard to win a championship if all your players get hurt, and the best way to avoid your players getting hurt are drafting guys who aren't very injury prone. For that reason, I'm out on Devonta Freeman. I don't think that he is going to play that well this year. I would much rather have all of Atlanta's pass offense than a guy like Devonta Freeman, in my opinion. So for that reason, I am out. At the 310, we have George Kittle, me Timbers. The 310, George Kittle, 49ers, tight end. And I said it before when I was talking about Ertz. I love me some George Kittle. He's a certified buy. A lot of people tell you last year, oh, he did so good. Like it's not likely that he'll play that good. Maybe he'll slightly regress, but he is a better quarterback now. He had Nick Mullins throwing him the ball last year, pretty much the whole season. Now he is Jimmy Handsome, the sexiest man alive. Now I don't really like Jimmy Garoppolo all that much in fantasy, but I tell you right now, he's a better quarterback than Nick fucking Mullins, who wasn't even Twitter verified until a couple of games into the season when he played on like a Thursday night football game. If your quarterback isn't verified on Twitter, he is not very good. So you want George Kittle this year. He's going to be catching all types of passes, all types of touchdowns. He's a big body. Look at his Instagram. The dude is fucking huge. You want George Kittle. You want those touchdowns. You want those catches. He's the best wide receiver besides Pettis on the San Francisco 49ers. And I love me some George fucking Kittle. So for that reason, we like him. At the 311, we have big Derrick Henry, Tennessee Titans running back. A lot of people. He's the probably most person to have the most split if they like him or not in fantasy football. Some people, they love him. They think he's going to do what he did at the end of last season. They think he's going to fucking stiff arm some fucking guy. Maybe I don't even remember who it was on the Jags. He fucking stiff armed him, ran 99 yards. He thinks that shit's going to happen again. People think that. I don't think that. I fucking hate Derrick Henry. Sell that motherfucker. I don't think that people are going to be I don't think that the Tennessee Titans are going to stick to their plan and keep running, keep rushing, keep pounding the rock with him. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that they're spitting some bumbo jumbo. I don't think that's going to happen. I think that Deion Lewis is going to still work into the catches, or I mean, work into the game because he's obviously a pass catching back. Derrick Henry, people will tell you, oh, he's caught the ball like 16 out of 19 times. That's from the Fade the Public podcast. If you listen to that, oh, he can catch the ball. Yeah, he can catch the ball. I can fucking catch the ball too. But like, he's not a great pass catcher. He won't be utilized with that in the game. So I'm not about to draft Derrick Henry at the 311 for a guy who could certifiably bust this whole season. At the beginning of his season, he looked like a goddamn idiot out there. You did not want to start him in fantasy. At the end of the season, he was a league winning back, and that may reside on your reason to pick him. You'd be like, oh, he won me the championship. Oh, what did he do for you the first couple of weeks? He didn't do jack of all shit half the season, more than half the season. He didn't do shit. He showed up when it mattered most, but you're not gonna fucking make the playoffs. Likely, you didn't make the playoffs because of Derrick Henry. He was riding your bench. You may have even dropped him, and someone may have picked him up. So for that reason, I'm out on Derrick Henry. Obviously, you can't take everything from last season. Obviously, because he was bad last season means that he is going to be bad this season. But I just don't like Derrick Henry because I don't know what they're going to do with him. I don't think the Tennessee Titans are very good, and I just don't really want much of the shares of that team. I don't really like anyone on that team besides maybe Delaney Walker as a late round flyer. At the 312, we have Mr. Stefon Diggs, Stefon Diggsy, the Minnesota Miracle Man himself. At the 312, Minnesota Vikings wide receiver. I don't know if you just heard me burp, but my fucking mouth is very fucking dry because I've been talking for the past 12 minutes without drinking any water, but it doesn't matter because you guys are getting all this fucking information thrown into your brain right now. At the 312, I fucking love me some Stephon Diggs. Stephon Diggs played great last year. I think, in my opinion, I said Adam Thielen's a buy, and I still would buy him at the 3-1, but the 312 value for Stephon Diggs is crazy. Pretty much a whole round later, you can get someone on the Vikings offense that I think is going to turn it around this year. I think Kirk Cousins could have a great turnaround year this season. I think Stephon Diggs is a great target down the field, short range, medium range. He's open everywhere. He's a great receiver. He has good hands. And I think he's a great wide receiver for fantasy football, just like he was last year. He played some great games last year, and he's not very injury prone. And like I said, I don't like drafting guys that are injury prone in fantasy because if your fucking best wide receiver falls out, like if you draft AJ Green, he's your wide receiver one, he falls out week 2, week 3 with some fucking turf toe injury. He gets fucking trench foot like he was fighting in fucking World War II. You don't want Stephon Diggs on, you do want Stephon Diggs. You don't want AJ Green for that trench foot. You don't want any of that shit. You want a guy who's able to stay healthy, a guy who's on a solid offense. The Vikings are a solid offense. You want a guy who's going to be catching touchdowns, is able to make catches over corners, a guy who can make corners look stupid. And in my opinion, Stephon Diggs can do that. And for that reason, I like Stephon Diggs at the 312 in fantasy football in 2019. So thank you guys all for watching this video. Please, please, please click the subscribe button down below or the one that's on the screen with Johnny Manziel throwing up the dubskis. Click on that. Make sure to do that because I want you guys to win your championship. I give you guys all the information you need to win. You're not paying for anything. I don't make you guys pay for anything. So there's not even ads on this fucking video. So you're just watching the video unless you have ad block. But it doesn't even fucking matter if you have ad block because you're never going to get any ads. So click on one of these videos that's on the fucking screen. I love you guys. Thank you guys all for watching. Have a great goddamn day. Goodbye, guys.